interesting you would say that. I have a theory. I have a theory. Okay, we are live with another episode of BS Busters. Um, it's been a while, but we're alive. We're alive. Yeah, this cast almost didn't happen because life was kicking my ass a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Let's have my other panelists introduce himself, and then we'll dive into some of these topics. Kenoshi, introduce
Uh,
yourself.
it's Kenoshi Abominito here with a fun fact. The PSX, not the nickname for the PS1, but the PSX was actually a console that was only released in Japan. It was a PS2 DR combo system that didn't end up selling very well because it was super expensive, and it was yeah, basically because it's super expensive and it was kind of ahead of its time. So
So typical Sony stuff where they make something really expensive where only like 0.001% of the audience would actually use it and then are surprised that
yeah,
it doesn't sell well. I can't believe, hey,
yeah,
we just sold a laptop in 1999 2000 that's perfect for streaming and making videos. Unfortunately, no one is using laptops for streaming and making videos in 2000.
yeah,
Sony.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's Sony for you. Sony is either ahead of the curve or behind the eight ball. They very rarely are perfect storm type people. It's me, Mr. Red
who has the
Fox. No, go ahead, Kenoshi.
oh, I was gonna say who in the heck have the internet capacity to stream anything, and who and which websites were actually doing streaming that
Well, you
wasn't
have to remember at that point
computer.
in the early 2000s, everyone was switching over from the internet browsers before, where it was the old shit where it was either text or video or images, to where everyone was switching over to the new standard where you could have images and video and text and and stuff that you could click on. Flash was coming on Flash was becoming the standard. Adobe,
Yeah,
all that type of stuff. You could do all that type of stuff. So if you were the early web browsers. If you were like at that time period and you were creating a website and you want to have videos and images and all that type of stuff, you could do it if you had the technology to do it. But they were just ahead of the curve. But it was also prohibitively expensive, and spec wise, it wasn't really that good. It was just really good for like one or two things, and then everything else it sucked at. Because that's Sony's mo back then. Now, not so much, but back in the day, that's what they would do.
yeah,
You know, that's Sony's mo. Oh, we're ahead of the curve, but it's stupid. But anyway, so we have some interesting topics for tonight's cast. In the title placard, you might say that Rockstar is impotent. And the reason I put that in there is because we had some news drop today that basically tells us that Rockstar has reportedly halted the Red Dead Redemption remaster and the GTA 4 remaster because of how fucking terrible the GTA trilogy, definitive edition trilogy remaster was. It is telling that a studio that has as much money and as much prestige as Rockstar, and a lot of it is deservedly earned. I mean, these are the people who helped create Max Payne, popularized the open world sandbox genre, all that type of stuff. But apparently, taking an IP that they want to remaster and putting some decent money behind it so that it's remastered well, that's too high of an ask. No, no, no. They would rather that's too difficult. They would rather shelve it and wait for, put it out later. I'm guessing so that the people who are old enough to remember these games from years ago don't compare the shitty remake they're going to do later on down the line to what the game used to be like.
oh jeez,
That's my
okay,
supposition. I could be wrong. Rockstar could have a non-nefarious reason for all of this, but when it comes to big corporations, I don't really give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm looking at how they're cutting costs, because clearly Rockstar doesn't care about their IPs if they gave if they gave clearly if they gave their most important, like arguably Rockstar's most important games, the games that made Rockstar what Rockstar is today, to a studio that had less than 25 people working on it, and gave them a fucking shoestring budget, and then act surprised that those games came out like dog shit, and that people were angry about this game not running properly or not being a good remake of those games. Not to mention that there are fans of GTA 5, of those games, who have remade like certain areas in those games in Unreal 5, and it looks amazing. You know, it's like it's frustrating, to say the least.
So they're sitting on money. They're sitting on a pile of money that can cast a shadow upon Mount Everest, and they can't, they can't seem to work up the funds or gather the resources necessary to make a remake of these two games. Like it's just
It's too
there must,
hard.
there must be
It's
some sort of weird
it's
weird hairbrained
here's what you
scheme.
need to understand. Okay, it is it is like, okay, asking them to give these remakes to studios who will put the time and attention to get it right is too difficult for them, so they're not going to do it. For a multi-billion
While
dollar company,
while there are people out there pertaining to the GTA games before Rockstar decided to
pull everything down.
pull everything down, that made mods that made the game look better and even run better,
Yep.
and they couldn't gather up those people and contract them out.
No, man, that takes effort. they would
It's
rather
just
they would rather give it to Grove Street Games, that had, at the time when they worked on that game, they had less than 25 people working at the studio, but they had made all those shitty ports that no one likes to smartphone and tablets of the GTA trilogy. So they knew they could make those games work. it's I mean, this shit's sad. I mean, this shit is sad in a way that is just like it's sad. It's sad. And also, I don't have any evidence to support this, but I think that Rockstar was expecting this game. I think the GTA Definitive Edition trilogy was supposed to be it was supposed to sell 30 million, like CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2070 was supposed to sell like 30 million units, but it's only at 18, right? And of that
yeah,
18, only 10 sold at $60 a pop, or $50 to $60 a pop. The other ones sold when they were on sale. And that's what I think happened with the GTA Definitive Edition thing. I think even though like Strauss Zelnick and the CEO, yeah, it did fine. No, it didn't. No, it did not do fine, because people heard about it, said, no, I'm not gonna get this. Fuck this. And I don't blame them, because I mean, I wouldn't spend real money. Um, I wouldn't spend real money after that shit.
oh yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Uh, it's just, I mean, it's sad. Like, the thing about a lot of these companies, and I know people like are so confused by some of these companies like Square Enix and Activision Blizzard and or Rockstar does all these wrong things, does all these weird things. It's not simply for the fact that it's not simply for the fact that uh, I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the people, a lot of the talent, a lot of the creative geniuses behind a lot of your favorite games you grew up with, they're gone.
Yeah, they're
They went
gone.
somewhere else.
Yeah,
They went somewhere else.
like
A
Hironobu
lot more.
Sakaguchi is gone from Square Enix. He took his core, the A team. He took his core team of people and they fucking left and founded Mistwalker. The B team, the people who would support the A team and made a lot of those lesser known great uh, Squaresoft games back in the day, the B team, they left. They went and founded Monolith Soft. So what you have left are the people who weren't good enough to leave at
Well,
Square Enix now.
the thing is, once you realize that companies like Sega, um, Capcom, they're kind of a weird company. At times they're times that they'll do some pretty good things.
Yeah.
At times they'll just do some really weird things.
Well, it's an ebb and
So
flow. It's an ebb and flow with it's an ebb and flow
Capcom,
with Capcom. Yeah, like because some
yeah,
years they're on point, and then other years it's like, God damn, how are you fucking this up? It's easy. It was simple. You only had one. It's I mean, to quote GTA, you had one job, CJ. Just follow the damn train. you know.
but and, but in any case, the point is that a lot of these companies that we grew up with, kids, and that we admire, um, just realize that there are that just realize they're company and name only, and it'll make you and you'll sleep a lot better at night. You won't have ulcers because you know these companies keep screwing up these franchises that were once pretty decent.
I agree.
So GTA, so GTA 6, kind of you kind of worried about that after the performance that they showed pertaining to the the remasters. I know it was in a different company's hands, but
Uh, I mean, I was worried when I saw that Doug Hauser left the company years ago. Dan Hauser is still there, but I mean, how much power does he have? Like a lot of the core people that made those GTA's that we love are not working there anymore.
mm,
have you noticed that with each iteration of GTA from the sixth gen to the seventh gen GTA was GTA 4. GTA 4 sucked. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100%. GTA Nico Bellic is one of the most annoyingly annoying protagonists in a Grand Theft Auto game. Now, we're kind of spoiled if you're a GTA fan because in the sixth gen we had two games that had great protagonists, or at least interesting to play as. You had uh, Tommy Vercetti in Vice City, and you had Carl Johnson in San Andreas, and they were fun protagonists to play with. You know, their
yeah,
stories were interesting, and they had well voiced. You know, they were interesting. Claude is just a fucking waste of space because he didn't say anything. He just ran around doing shit. Um, but then we go from that to Nico Bellic, who was fucking annoying. Like I hate GTA 4's main protagonist, but
yeah,
they kind of redeemed it a little bit with the expansions because Johnny Klebitz in Lost in the Damned was a very conflicted. Like Lost in the Damned is a very conflicted. Has a lot of shit going on.
yeah.
Um, and then you have my favorite expansion from GTA 4, which is the Ballad of Gay Tony, which is amazing. Like the Ballad of Gay Tony is like, man, if they had made this character Lewis is the main character of GTA 4, this would have been such a better game. Because Nico Bellic sucks. But like the Ballad of Gay Tony has the shit that I love about GTA. It has the absurdity. Like I think one of the first opening missions to the Ballad of Gay Tony, you have to chase a guy down who owes your boss money. You got to chase him down, and and then you tie him up and you hit golf balls at him. You chase him down in a fucking golf cart. You're chasing a dude down in a golf cart. He's in a golf cart. You're in a golf cart. It's a golf cart car chase. That's amazing. That's GTA. Nah, we can't have that in the other games. No, we gotta have Nico Bellic with his cousin Roman. Yeah, I'm like, I fucking hate this character.
Yeah.
But it got worse. Like you thought they would have learned their lesson from GTA 4 and be like, oh no, we need to lighten up on these characters because no one likes Nico Bellic. Plus, there were a lot of other features missing in that game, like the property you could buy in Liberty City was trash. They got rid of airplanes. All you could really fly were fucking helicopters. Yeah, GTA 4 is underwhelming. The car physics are terrible.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I know people say, "Well, it wasn't fun driving cars." No. The car physics in GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City was arcadey. But if you got like in GTA, if you got a good car, like in Vice City, how well your car handled depended on the quality of the vehicle. If you had a Cheetah or a Phoenix, something that was fast, like a sports car, it felt great to drive. GTA San Andreas, it was based on your stats and the quality of the vehicle. If you had high drive stats and a good car, driving felt great. You drive a car in GTA 4, even if it's a high quality car, it always feels like the car is like, it feels like if your car hits a fly, if a fly hits your windshield, your car's going to flip over.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the driving physics were kind of annoying in that game. I kind of gave up on that game, mainly because there were other games at the time I wanted to play, and I just kind of found it kind of boring. It's like, yeah, I remember publications at the time giving it 10 out of 10s.
Because it had been so long
I'm just like,
between
oh,
it had been so long between GTAs. But Grand Theft Auto 4 is
yeah,
not a great GTA game. It
yeah,
really isn't. Now, maybe if you download a lot of mods for it, that might make it better. But and I have it on PC, and I keep on meaning to start that game heavily modded on PC, but I just don't have the energy to like want to make it enjoyable because I fucking hate Nico Bellic. And I had that game initially. I had that game on the PS3, and then I sold the game. Like I traded it in because I was like, I don't fucking like this game. Um, then I got GTA 5, which GTA 5 has some good ideas. It's just unfortunately all the goodwill that I had towards that game kind of drains out when I realized that the single player was sabotaged so that they could put all their efforts into developing content for the online. Um, and I literally mean everything. I mean
yeah,
like Michael, Trevor, uh, forgot the Franklin. They're actually really interesting protagonists. Like because they're all at different phases of their lives and they represent different aspects of the type of GTA players that you've had in the past. Trevor is a psychotic piece of shit, so he's like Claude. Michael is like the planner. I'm planning things out, so he's more like he's like a criminal who was at the top of his game and retired. He was out of the game. He was out of the game. But just when he thought he was out, he got pulled back in. So he's more like a Tommy Vercetti, you know. And then there's Franklin, and he's more like a young CJ, right? And they each play differently. They have their strengths and weaknesses. The heists are the greatest part about GTA 5, to be honest with you. The heists are amazing. Unfortunately, all the extra content that should have been the single player was pushed over onto the online. Um, but if you have it on PC, you can like download mods that add all that stuff into the single player, so that you don't have to play the online. Because I played the online, I maxed out my character in like 2-3 months, and I was like, this is boring, and I stopped playing. I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of funny because when online started becoming big on the Xbox, but like became even bigger on the Xbox 360. Like yeah, you at least at the time I wanted online for everything, and then I've gotten to a point now. It's just like I don't really care about online that much. Maybe except for fighting games. That's about it.
I mean, when online's done well, like if I'm playing an FPS and you have an online that's great, like a Doom or Duke Nukem or a first-person shooter where online really works, it's great. Like like a Splatoon 2. Like if they re-released GoldenEye or Perfect Dark and they had online, I'd be okay with it if it was done well. Like online is not a dirty word. It's just if you have a franchise that has historically been single player centric and then you fucking take resources. This is the same thing I've always said. Don't take resources from the single player to pump up your shitty online. Now, GTA Online was the exception to the rule because they tried to do the same thing with Red Dead Redemption 2, and that online is dead. Okay? No one, because I keep on telling people this. If you're bored in GTA, single player or online, you can get in your car and turn on the radio and drive around. There's shit you can do to kill time while you're doing something else. If you're bored in Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption online, I mean, you got a horse. You can ride your horse someplace. You can, stop and kill something and skin it. You can pan for gold in that river over there. I mean, it's boring. Okay, Red Dead Redemption is a boring fucking game. It's boring as fuck. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure is. I mean, especially Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm sure Red Dead Redemption when it first came out, and both really good looking games, but yeah, just not into how they not necessarily into how they handle realism.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would rather like schedule a horseback ride and just go ride a real horse for an hour, go horseback riding for an hour on a trail, an hour to 3 hours on a trail, than actually fucking um, play a game you know, and I mean, there's simple things they could do to the Red Dead Redemption franchise to make it more interesting. Like instead of trying to go realistic, if they basically did like a fictionalized version of the Wild West, like in the vein of a Sergio Leone trilogy, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, The Man with No Name, A Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More. Like, do something like that. No, we got to go realistic. I'm like, fuck this shit. No.
Yeah,
But that's just my personal opinion. um, so, do you have any other thoughts about about Rockstar just saying "fuck it"? our consumer base is too smart to fall for our bullshit, so let's just not do it. Instead of doing it right, you know, you know.
well, I wonder if there's just some crafty snake at the head of the whole thing, looking to sell their company and get as much money as they can and get out of the games industry and just screw off somewhere else. Seems to be the new hot thing.
I don't know. All I know is like okay. people want to put this on Strauss Zelnick, but Strauss Zelnick just runs 2K. Okay, he runs the overall company. This is an internal Rockstar issue. Like whoever is in charge of Rockstar, this is their problem. And yeah, you're fucked. That's all I can say. You're fucked as a company. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Our next topic of discussion is EA is tone deaf. Now, the reason I say this is because EA did a meme tweet saying that single player games are, so last. So here, let me look it up because it was some stupid shit where I was like, "Wow, you actually said that. You for real said some stupid shit like that." Damn.
Single player games for what?
Here, let me look it up because it was like, why would you say that when you guys know that you guys make single player games? I'm like, you make single player games. That's like okay. So basically, they said that here, let me do their exact words. So here's what they said. They're a 10, but they only like playing single player games.
Wow.
So basically, it's like they're saying, "Oh, she's real. They're real fine. They're 10 on the 1 to 10 how good looking they are scale." But the problem is they like playing single player games. Now, the problem with this statement is EA makes single player games. Not everything. A lot of their shit has multiplayer components, but they also make some fairly decent single player games. Like Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2. Well, Dragon Age 2 had some shitty multiplayer added to it. But, I mean, a lot of their games are also single player. Jedi Fallen Order is a single player game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get why they would say that. I don't know what they were trying to. Like you said, I think somebody who said that, who tweeted that, definitely tone deaf and obviously forgot. Doesn't know what's going on over there at EA, or
Well, I think
obviously
whoever.
it's somebody who wasn't in charge and somebody maybe at their PR.
Yeah,
Hopefully they got it.
someone at their PR firm who deals with their Twitter account wrote that, probably will say something to pump up multiplayer games, and they wrote some tone deaf shit like this.
Yeah, it's like why would you write? Why would you like? You know,
But
there would
they
have been.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there probably would have been a much better way to promote single or
Multiplayer
games
games,
without.
like grab a friend, go play this, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. But it gets worse. A former developer who used to work at EA, Zach Mumbach, said, "This is the company that shut down my studio and laid off 100 great developers because we were making a single player game." And then he follows it up. He says, "Also, if you break game rating scores down to a 10-point scale, most EA games are a solid 6 or 7. Not because the developers are bad, but because EA, the corporation, forces them to rush games out. EA corporate leadership wouldn't know what a 10 looks like in terms of video games." He dunked on his former company. He dunked. And then another developer says, "Thinking about working until midnight for a better part of a year to help ship Mass Effect 2. They're a 10, but they only like playing single player games." I mean, yeah, this is. But it gets worse. Staff are pissed who work at EA are pissed about
still a great. I mean, there's still a large majority of a large chunk of people that like single player games,
Yeah, yeah.
and also who play multiplayer games.
I mean, like, okay, this isn't a
Uh,
versus multiplayer versus single player thing. It's like you're a company who makes both.
yeah.
Like, why would you? So then their PR company tried to save it. They're like, well, roast well deserved. We'll take this L because playing single player games actually makes them an 11. It's like, you already
Too
fucked up.
late.
It's too late.
It's too
It's
late.
too late.
Uh, oh man. Your internal temperature has reached 145. You're already cooked. You are already cooked. It is too late.
I tell you this much:
I don't
the
know.
person who wrote that tweet is probably getting fired. They're either getting
Yeah.
fired or severely reprimanded and taken out of that position.
Yeah, they're probably getting screamed at. They're probably getting getting a tongue lashing of sorts.
But that's my own personal opinion. I'm just some guy. You know. So, do you have any thoughts about how EA basically dunked on themselves?
No, just next time you put your foot in your mouth, just take it out and walk away. Because the thing is, the best thing to do is to just take the beating and just walk away. Because the second you start saying something else to try to fix it, you're just gonna make it worse.
I would say whatever stupid shit you want to say, but before you stick your foot in your mouth, make sure it's clean. Wash your foot. Wash your foot. The only people who I would say it's okay to put their foot in your mouth is if you're a parent, a father putting his baby's foot in his mouth, because babies' feet are really fucking clean because they aren't walking around or doing anything on their feet. Or if you're into some weird fetish shit. But I mean, if you're gonna do a mouth thing, you got to make sure that person's feet are clean as fuck. Okay. You don't stick something in your mouth. You don't stick your foot in your mouth just on GP. But that's my opinion. Let's move on to the next topic. I think we've belabored that point to death. So in the UK, or sorry, in the EU, they have a regulatory body that's taking a look at Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Hmm. They have a regulatory body looking at that's a big number. That's a big number Microsoft threw out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does need to be looked at.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's something that should just, you know, just pretend. It should pretend like it's not a big deal.
Well, my problem with my problem with my issue with Activision Blizzard buying Microsoft buying acquiring Activision Blizzard is not that they're doing it, because I don't really care. Like, when all these companies started getting bought up, I was like, okay, this is a problem for the industry. But I knew it was going to be the issue because Activision Blizzard is a fucking trash ass company. and the people at the top are going to get a huge payday, and they're not going to get their comeuppance, which they need, because these people have like it's bad enough when you run a company poorly and it creates a bad product, but these were hurting people, you know. They created a frat boy environment where fuckers were literally going into the nursing mothers' nursing rooms and stealing breast milk from out of the little refrigerators they had there. They had to lock down the fucking breast milk. All
That's
right.
crazy.
Do you know how much of a foul fucking piece of shit human being you have to be to steal breast milk? Pretty damn low. Plus the standard shit that you see in misogynistic, disproportionate power structure social organizations, like dudes who didn't have nearly as much experience or seniority as female co-workers, but being promoted over them. White guys getting promoted over people of color, even though they were less qualified. All that type of shit.
Yeah.
And these fuckers are going to get away with it. They're going to get a big payoff and ride off into the sunset. And I know, like, the world is not fair. That bullshit that people say, everyone's going to get what's coming to them. No, they don't. Plenty of people who do fucking terrible foul shit get away with it. All the goddamn time. But it's not right with the amount of shit these people have done for them to just be able to say, well, we got to pay out and we're done. It's not right.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Some there are many of times where the evil doers are rewarded, and the heroes are shamed and thrown out to the wolves. So it's that's the unfortunate realities about life, and hopefully these people just go away. Um, but the power corrupts, and power corrupts absolutely. Their tongues will be tempted with power somewhere else.
Yeah, I hope they go away. I hope they get their huge golden parachute and they go the fuck away and we never see them again. I don't want to see Bobby Kotick. I don't want to see the executive board of Activision Blizzard ever again. I hope that because Microsoft is buying this company when they're under distress, um, and they're gonna have to spend. Yeah, they're spending $67 billion right now, but they're gonna have to spend even more money rebuilding the company. So
Yeah,
don't expect Activision Blizzard to be good for at least 5 years, and that's being optimistic with how long it's going to take to rebuild the company. But
yeah,
that's my opinion.
yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts before we move on
Eh,
to the free topic?
too bad that for the for people who didn't do anything wrong, because um, people who uh, do boycotts and stuff, the decent developers there are gonna end up getting screwed over. So, and it's not as easy to just leave a company as you might think it is, especially with Activision Blizzard's bad reputation. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
I mean, I think in a perfect world, a lot of these people would be punished, for lack of a better term. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world of imperfection. Um, and it is our job. Like, there is no justice in this world. You create justice through laws, through human intervention. Okay, there's no fairness. You create fairness through human intervention. And unfortunately, you know, money, capitalism, people's greed gets in the way of fairness. Because if things were fair, that entire executive board would be tossed out on their fucking ass, and get nothing. Like Les Moonves, the former CEO of fucking CBS. Like, not only was he fired, but he didn't get his payout. Like, he got nothing. He was supposed to get like $183 million, and he got nothing. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. Fuck that guy. You know, but such is life. So, with that being said, I guess we can move on to free topic. So, is there anything you want to bring up? Anything in gaming? Any pop culture thing? You're like, I want to talk about that. No one's talking about this. I want to mention it.
A couple things. The NFT console, the fake.
Oh, you mean the thing where they stole the GameCube logo and just turned it a little bit? They're like, oh no, we
Yeah, that belongs to. Yeah. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Yeah, the way that I heard about it, it's like, yeah, this is just another NFT scam.
Yep.
I don't understand why people are continuing with NFT scams when.
Well, it should be fairly obvious, Kenoshi. If you can get rich quick, like people put their money in, and you slide your money out before they can take their money out, you can get very rich very quickly.
I'm only asking this question. I mean, that's obvious. I'm just only asking this question with the lowering of confidence pertaining to cryptocurrency right now. You know, this is like the worst time to do your quick and dirty NFT scam.
I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, as long as people think they can get paid, they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do, because people want to get paid, you know. And they don't like if people spent more energy doing real, like instead of sitting there worrying about bullshit like that. If people put that energy towards real shit, there'd be less bullshit in the world. But that's my own personal opinion. Like, if the people who are doing this NFT shit put that energy towards something legitimate that wasn't as scammy, they could make money. Maybe not as much money. Like, let's say a team of like 5 people are behind the NFT thing, and they think they each can make around 1.3 million apiece. They might only make $1 million with their legitimate thing, but at least they aren't fucking people over, and they're creating something that people actually can use and like.
Yeah.
Versus, just bullshit. But that's my own personal opinion. So what do you think? Agree, disagree?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if there's still money to be made, even in even with dwindling confidence, current cryptocurrencies, still sure there's believers that will think, oh, cryptocurrency will rise back up. Probably not. Probably not in the immediate future, but yeah. Um, that was my first topic. Second topic is they announced a new Trigun anime. Hopefully it Trigun Stampede. Hopefully it follows the manga a bit more because I know that I thought the TV series is pretty good. From people I've heard from, they kind of cut things out from the manga or kind of brush over a few details that happen in the manga. Hopefully this new anime will follow closely. Um, I know I posted in other servers, and there were some people that liked the visuals, and then there were some people that absolutely hated it. Uh, I personally, it isn't the most offensive CGI I've seen in anime compared to stuff like Berserk or
Yeah, that Berserk 3D
stuff
looked
from
like
the
shit.
90s.
Yeah, that Berserk 3D,
Yeah,
it's like, this is, this is
yeah,
ugly.
yeah, yeah. So it doesn't come out until next year. So they could make improvements along the way.
They make
Like
Vash look a little bit different than what he normally looks like. His arm, his cool mechanical arm, which is supposed to look like until he activates it, it's supposed to look like a normal arm. So I'm kind of weirded out how they're showing it look like a like like it looks when it's activated when it's not activated. But okay, I'll let that go.
uh, and he kind of has a bit of a
His
his hair looks
hairstyle
a little
looks a
more
little weird.
like yeah, it looks like Naruto's hair. It looks kind of like Naruto. Like his hair is supposed to be spiky.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
I mean, that could
yeah,
be. It. They probably rendered it in 3D and it looked weird, and they were like, "Okay, we can't make this because some shit that looks good 2D doesn't look good in 3D."
yeah, that might have been it. But yeah, I can't wait. My hope, my second hope for that anime is that when they finally when a dub comes out, that they use the same voice actors that they used for the TV show back 20 years ago. Hopefully, those people are still around. Uh, um, so yeah,
Yeah, I'd be
and
cool with that.
if there's one anime, yeah, I would recommend. That would definitely be one because it's at least the older version. Um, because it's it's pretty short. Doesn't require a huge amount of time. I think it's only like 24, 25 episodes. So it's beginning, middle, and end. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, but
And
that's
my
my own. No, go ahead.
oh oh and my last free topic is there's a story on Spawnwave today about Nintendo uh, bringing their Mario Kart uh, smartphone game over to PC because
No
you
one
know
was playing it on smartphone. They
no
played
because
it for like a little bit of time. They're like, "This is stupid."
Android stuff is becoming more or is starting to become more compatible with the Windows 11.
Hmm.
So there's just a data leak that showed the games coming to PC. Um, and he had one of his poll questions, like, could you see Nintendo bringing the first party games over to PC? Of course, 90% said no, over 90% said no. I definitely don't see it happening anytime soon. Could it happen eventually? Who knows? You know, who knows what Nintendo's gonna be in the next decade, 2 decades?
Uh, Here's what I think. I think their big AAA, majorly important top tier stuff will always be you have to buy their shit in order to play their shit. For the shit they don't give a
Yeah,
shit about, like their third tier stuff, like Fatal Frame, they'll bring it. They don't care about that.
yeah,
For shit where they're like, okay, this only sold like 800,000 on our hardware, but if we put it on PC, it might sell like another 800,000 or a million because people might want to play it. Then we can make more money. Like they might double dip on that. For their AAA stuff, no. You gotta buy their shit to play their shit because then they get a triple dip. They get you on the subscription fee if it's a multiplayer game. They get you on the game itself and all the DLC and all that shit. Plus, you gotta buy their console. So they're making more money if you have to buy into their whole ecosystem than if you just you know.
yeah. I guess there's that's not gonna lie. There's that's one more thing. So I guess people were again getting themselves up a tizzy about a Nintendo console revision. It just turns out it's just a Splatoon 3 Special Edition console. So
I mean,
People just need to give up on this whole Switch Pro thing. It's like
yeah. If
you need to.
Nintendo's going to spend billions of dollars revising their console, they're just going to make a new console or a new handheld, I should say. Like I don't see the point of them, because at this point, why should they spend a whole bunch of money getting new parts? Like the Switch has been selling poor, the sales are down in Japan, not because people don't want to Switch, but because they can't get enough parts to make Switches in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. That's why they started, I guess, upping the amount of money they spend on parts to uh, push themselves up in the priority. So
Yeah,
at least that, yeah, came out in their investors meeting. I think it was last week. So
I mean, shit. What did you think was gonna happen? You think?
no, but and the idea of right now the way things are, I think the idea of coming out with new hardware, like brand spanking new hardware for any of these companies, just scares them to death because of how difficult it is to get a hold of parts right now.
Yeah, they're all buying time right now. Microsoft has the best chance to do anything because they have specifically like gotten their hands on fab lines that they spent extra money to have done. But Sony and Nintendo are basically kind of fucked. Okay,
Yeah,
so right now, well, they're like, okay, well, we'll do the best we can with what we got. Commercially, the Switch has done very well. Personally, I'm not very impressed with it as their next home console. As the successor to 3DS, it's amazing, but as their next home console, it's disappointing to say the least. Um, and I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. How could you say that? It's my opinion. I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want. Um, as far as Splatoon, uh, I mean, they're doing a hardware revision of Splatoon. I don't really fucking care. I mean, I mean, Splatoon 2 it did so many things right, but the core conceit of the control scheme just kind of ruined it for me.
yeah,
Without
yeah.
the
I can see that.
without the two screen without the dual screen gameplay, it doesn't feel like I'm playing Splatoon. It feels like I'm playing like remember how we used to feel like when someone would take a Wii game and port it over to the PS3 or the Xbox 360 and it played markedly worse because they stripped out the motion control that was utilized so well on the Wii for that particular game. That's how it feels playing Splatoon 2 on the Switch. It's like, y'all just had that second screen, this would be great, but you don't, so fuck it. But that's my personal opinion. Do you have anything else you want to mention? Any movies that you're looking forward to? Any anything else?
That Ninja Turtles. I don't know if you've seen the new Ninja Turtles movie trailer. Uh,
The art style looks like shit.
but it looks, yeah, that movie looks whack. That art style looks whack.
The art style
The
looks
plot,
like shit. I'm not gonna lie. Now, here's what I will say about the reboot that Nickelodeon did. Like, it started out as some bullshit, but at the very end, Leonardo becomes the leader. They try to bring the mythos, what the bullshit they were doing, in line with the mythos, which works. But the problem is that you had to go through 2.5, 3 seasons of bullshit to get to that point, which doesn't really work all that well. You know.
yeah. Yeah, I just thought the the plot too of the movie is kind of dumb. It's like, oh, okay, you know, I don't mind time travel and stuff like that, but it's just it just comes off as the way it's handled. It just seems like it's coming off as pretty generic.
That's true. It is. It is generic. Um, I mean, the art style looked kind of like shit, and it went with that Cal Arts art style, which is cheap to animate, because there's less frames you have to do without it looking like a Hanna Barbera cartoon where they're using the same background over and over again. So I can understand that. My problem once again is that I'm a huge TMNT fan, both originally the cartoon from the '87 that started in '87, and then the comics that started in like '84, '83, '84. And it's like I can clearly tell where like these people, they wanted to do their own thing and said fuck the lore, and then the last season, like, okay, we're getting canceled, this is our final season, we have to wrap this shit up and tie it into the lore. It's like this doesn't work because you weren't building up to it, but whatever. um
Yeah.
yeah, I anyway, that's how I feel. There's a movie coming out that I'm looking forward to. It's coming out in August. It's the new TMNT.
Oh wow.
Or not TMNT. It's the new DBZ movie. It's the one
Oh,
that stars Dragon Ball's greatest dad, who's not a dad but kind of sort of is,
the
Piccolo,
surrogate
and
father. Yeah.
Gohan. Well, I mean, let me put it this way: it's like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yandu says, "Yeah, he may be your father, but I'm your daddy." Yeah,
Yeah.
Goku may be Gohan's father, but his dad is Piccolo. you know, Piccolo's his dad, and I'm looking forward to it because Piccolo's finally getting powered up. Gohan gets a new form, his beast form, so he gets like I think Ultra Instinct and Ultra, I forget the other one. So he gets his, it's just Ultra Beast, which is kind of cool. Piccolo's getting a new form, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, it's going to be another one of those things where Gohan's going to rage out, and because someone hurt Piccolo, and then he's going to, they're bringing back a version of Cell, which I'm kind of like, could you guys create new villains?
Got to keep on treading. That's kind of why I hated Resurrection. When I heard, when they announced Resurrection F, Frieza coming back, I just groaned. I was like, really,
Can,
guys?
can
This
you
is
come up with
gonna
something new?
reach
No,
out.
we got to keep on bringing back old characters. We don't create new
Uh,
characters. We bring back old ones over and over and over again. You know, and
uh,
that bothers me a little bit. I'm like, could you do something new? Could you bring back a new character, please? No. Can we? And the thing is, they don't bring back characters that would be interesting. Like it would be interesting if, um, like it would be interesting if you had Vegeta come back to Earth, and there be a human who, like, maybe they were off on vacation and their family was killed by Vegeta when he was wilding out, or maybe Majin Vegeta. And he's like, yeah, yeah, this is the father of your children, but he's a piece of shit and he needs to die. Like that would be a very interesting dynamic to have. Nah, nah, we can't have that.
or Raditz comes back from the dead to exact his revenge on, but not Raditz. Nappa comes back from
Nappa,
the dead to
you
exact.
killed me! You fucking killed me! You son of a
Yeah.
bitch! I'll kill you! I'll kill you! You know, um, once again, I'm gonna keep on reiterating this. They really should do like an alternate Dragon Ball Z, it's like spin off the series where you have, where you finally get to see Gohan and Trunks step out of their father's shadows. That would have been
Yeah.
very interesting. Um, you know, to me, uh, you know, have like Gohan. Well, I got to train Trunks. But this, like, am I trained? Am I trained? Like, I had to put down Vegeta because he's a piece of shit. He's a murderous piece of shit. But I also have to train Trunks because he's also, a Saiyan hybrid, and really powerful. But I mean, am I training this kid so that one day he's gonna get powerful enough to kill me? Or is he gonna help save the planet when some shit jumps off? Because both of our fathers are dead. You know, like that's basically like my father died fighting Cell, and I had to put down Vegeta because he's a piece of shit. So it's like, okay, like that would be a very interesting dynamic. You could have some really interesting storytelling there, and we'll never get it because Dragon Ball Z is afraid to ask tough questions like that.
Yeah.
Like Bulma fucks a guy and had 2 kids with a guy. Yeah, 2 kids with a guy. Yeah, just straight up came to Earth and murdered a whole bunch of people. And you could say, well, he did it when he was still part of the Frieza Force or whatever. But then he fucking purposely infected himself with the Majin thing and helped bring Majin Buu back, where he fucking killed a lot of people too.
Yeah.
I mean, Vegeta's always been a very problematic character. But, you know, I'm just some guy. So, anyway.
That's all I got.
Okay. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z. I love the franchise. I'm looking forward to Superhero with Piccolo and Gohan. They're bringing back the Red Ribbon Army, which I'm like, you guys haven't really used the Red Ribbon Army for a long time, so I'll let it slide. The last time we properly had the Red Ribbon Army was in GT, where like at the end of GT, you would see like they would have little throwbacks to seeing characters from Dragon Ball pop up, and that was kind of interesting. Let's see what else. Looking forward to seeing Thor: Love and Thunder next week.
I never cared about the first one. Not too impressed with it. I didn't really like it that much, and then there's the I didn't really watch the other ones after that.
That's interesting. Well, the first Thor sucks. The first Thor movie is terrible. The Dark World is bad too. The only good thing about the Dark World is that like Thor's mother dies and he has to team up with Loki. Thor Ragnarok is actually really good. Like it's really good. Like, you know, and it took like 2 movies for us to get a good Thor movie. Cause, you know, the first Thor movie takes itself too fucking seriously. It's like, oh, this is a Shakespearean tragedy, and I'm like, Kenneth Branagh is a good director, and he's a great actor, but fuck, this isn't working for me.
Man.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Thor: Love and Thunder, just because even though people are saying, well, the comedy kind of overwhelms the storytelling. The sad thing about Thor: Love and Thunder is that his Gore the God Butcher, who in the comics, his powers that he uses to kill gods with is directly connected to the symbiotes. And they can't do that because they don't have access to that lore. So they had to just piecemeal some shit together.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's gonna be weird.
Yeah, this would be awesome if you guys could use your full arsenal. It's like, I want you to fight, but you can only use your right-handed. You can only use your left hand. It's like, fuck.
Well, that's the problem with the MCU is that, you know, hindsight being 2020, they kind of sold their IPs to different companies. They got some of that. They got a lot of that stuff back, but it just they had to do weird things in order to make things make sense.
Well, they licensed it out because at that point Marvel was going broke, and they were like,
Yeah.
shit, we need to make money. So they had to sacrifice a leg so that the body could live. Yeah, basically. But I mean, you know, look, they got bought by Disney and now they have a lot of money and they can do shit, but they had to, you know, But I mean, things are coming together. I mean, hopefully one day we'll get a good what's it called? Fantastic Four movie. I hope. Because
Maybe someday.
maybe someday. Just a good Fantastic Four movie, which I love. I want to see a good Fantastic Four movie. I want to see the first family of comics. I want to see Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm together. I want to see them beating the shit out of Doctor Doom. I want to see Doctor Doom talking shit like he normally does, and then Ben gets the drop on him and uppercuts the ever loving shit out of him. That's what I want to see. You know, Victor Von Doom. This is my time. The age of heroes is done. This is Victor Von Doom's time. I want to see Ben Grimm pop up behind him and be like, "Hey, Mac." It ain't your time, it's clobbering time, and punch the shit out of him. That's what I want to see. Will we get it? Probably not. Well, actually, no, considering that they have those rights now, probably, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Apparently, the reason the last few Marvel films have been kind of shit is because Kevin Feige's attention has been on other shit for the last, like, 3 or 4 movies, but apparently he's got his shit back together now, so hopefully things can come together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at this point, we're talking about cinematic universe. I don't even think God could fix the DC universe at this point.
Oh no, they can fix it. It's
Yeah,
just,
so-
do they want to? The question is, do they want to? Do they want to fix it? Do they want to do they want to fix it? Do they want to make it worth your time? I don't think they do. Cuz they have no incentive to.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know some people are going to get mad by that. How could you say that? Come on. Y'all know good and hell well they have no incentive to do any of that shit.
Yeah.
Do I want them to? Hell yeah, but will they? Probably not. Probably not. Because they love fucking up. That's the rule of thumb of that's the rule of thumb of those types of games. They love fucking shit up and just being dicks. Anyway, anything else you want to mention? Oh, we have to do unpopular opinions. Do you have an unpopular opinion? I have one. I'm going to share it in a moment. People are going to get mad at me when they hear it too.
There are more games to play now than ever. So people act like there's people want to bitch about the gaming industry, and there's plenty of problems to be bitch about, but at the same time there are more games now to play than ever, so it's not all terrible. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not as bad as people have been making it out to be for the past few years.
I agree. I agree. No, go ahead.
Sucks.
Yeah.
AAA, but other than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are a lot of games to play. The problem is that, like, depending on what your tastes are, 70 to 85% of them are games that people don't want to play.
Yeah.
Like, if you're into FPSs, quality FPSs, only about 10-15% of what's coming out you're going to want to play. It's like, gamers now are like when you go to a library, right? like a big library that has a huge, like, let's say you're a sci-fi and fantasy fan. They have a huge sci-fi and fantasy selection. But the problem is, you are not adventurous and you only like 3 or 4 authors. And even though they have a huge selection, they only have a very small amount of those few authors, of books. And that's basically how it feels for a lot of gamers right now. Yes, we've never had more gaming, but a lot of those games are not to people's taste. And of those games that aren't to people's taste, like the people who are playing, I would say half of them are shit. Anyway, they're just not good. It's not the volume, it's the quality. That's the issue. Like, I would rather have a smaller amount of games released, but higher quality, than having the dearth of the huge cavalcade, the deluge of games we have now. But a lot of them are shit. It's like, this is.
Oh yeah, I mean, you hear about, especially with the Steam Greenlight and stuff that was going on with PlayStation. But I remember the stories about Steam Greenlight before it became early access, and all the trash that people were dumping in to get a quick buck.
Yeah.
And just essentially assets used from stuff like Unity and various other engines, and just acting as if they're actual games and they weren't. Yeah, there's a lot of.
I mean, not just Unity flips. Epic flips. I mean, Unreal flips.
Unreal flips.
I mean, if there's an engine and there's an asset pack for it, you can go on Steam, find tons of fucking bullshit ass games that use the asset pack to the bare minimum effect.
Oh yeah, it is. It is a dumpster fire out. It can't be a dumpster fire out there. That's for sure.
So when people come up to me and they're like, well, I mean, never has there been more variety, but so much of the variety is shit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's like, oh man, look at, I hate to say this, I would rather have a curated, I would rather have a lower amount of AAA games being released in the year, but have them be well made with a good amount of content than just what we've been getting, which is kind of like, we can do whatever. It doesn't matter.
I mean, there's also the reality that there's a lot more freedom when it comes to, where you can publish your games, because it seems like long gone are the days of like the lock ship and like heavily curated quality control. I feel quality control has gotten a bit lax with these companies, even Nintendo.
That is true.
You'll see a lot of trash pop up from the eShop.
Yep. I mean, it started with the Wii, but the Wii was like, okay, Nintendo's desperately trying to support the console, but not the Wii, the Wii U. The Wii had a lot of shovelware, but Nintendo was just like, look, we don't care. We're making money. It doesn't fucking matter. But with the Wii U, it was like, they had some shit on the Wii U in the eShop where I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like, there are games that you just probably won't like, and then there are games that are just like, it's like, who are you fooling? Who are you trying?
Who you bullshitting? Who you bullshitting?
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get it. I'm not disavowing that statement. I just think that I agree with you, but I do think that quality control has gone down for all these companies like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. They'll just allow anything on, not anything, but like shit that used to not, you would like, on a personal level, there's shit that I've seen on the Switch that 2-3 console gens ago, I'm like, this shit would have never been on a Nintendo console, like ever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of mad about it actually, because it just shows that you guys don't give a fuck, or you're happy to collect your cut and then just keep it moving. But anyway, so my unpopular opinion is this. I think that the this is a little movie trivia. Not like anime, is a little anime trivia. I think that not all remakes are terrible. I think that some things need to be. I think some things can be live action remakes and some things can't. It depends on what it is and what your vision is on how you're gonna adapt it. If you do like a live action Yakuza, it could work. If you do a live action Death Note and you change everything essentially to it, then it's not gonna work. Like that live action Death Note they did on Netflix was shit.
Oh, I heard, but yeah, that was pretty bad.
There was a way it could have worked, but they just refused to do it that way. They were like, "Well, we have to anglicize it." I'm like, "Why are you anglicizing Death Note? Like, this is a show that takes place in Japan with Japanese characters, but you anglicized it so that it's white people."
I don't get it.
I don't like why. Like, I don't like. There's some shit. Okay, I get like if you were to do a Fist of the North Star live action, which they tried to do back in the day, but if they were to redo it, like a live action Fist of the North Star, Fist of the North Star takes place in the post-apocalyptic future. The main character's named Kenshiro, but he doesn't really look really Japanese at all, right?
Yeah.
And it takes place in a like there's no national boundaries there, so you can basically, as long as Kenshiro is some huge dude who can make Bruce Lee sounds when he punches somebody, you're good. You're fucking good. You know, matter of fact, you could probably recast Kenshiro as a black guy and no one would say shit. As long as you gave him the 7 scars on his chest and he did Bruce Lee sounds when he was beating the shit out of somebody, and he'd walk away and be like, "You're already dead. I hit 19 of your pressure points in that attack. You have 5 seconds to live." It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Because Fist of the North Star has nothing to do with these people's ethnicities. But Death Note is really intrinsically tied into Japanese culture and how they think about things. Even the Shikigami death god is a Japanese thing. So why the fuck would you make it white people? That's weird to me. That's really fucking weird. That's like that movie, The Last Samurai. Who is the last samurai? Tom Cruise. What? Hollywood loves to do that. It's like we're going to, you know, they love to appropriate other cultures' shit. I mean, think about it. Tarzan, the baddest motherfucker in the African jungle, is some random white guy. Isn't that, I mean, that's kind of racist. It's a little bit racist. Like, Tarzan is so bad. Here's how bad of a motherfucker Tarzan is. Tarzan is so bad of a motherfucker that the African tribesmen who go into the jungles are terrified of him. Terrified of him. His name was given to him by the African tribesmen who go into the jungles. Because Tarzan literally means in their language, white ape.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's fucking fucked up. It's there's a legacy of Hollywood appropriating. I mean, like the Lone Ranger, right? Like everyone's like, "Oh, the Lone Ranger." The Lone Ranger was based on a black guy who was a Texas Ranger named Bass Reeves. And because of the racism that existed in the Southwest at that time, he would have to wear masks in order to hide his identity so that the people wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
But when they made the Lone Ranger was a white guy. Just some random white guy. And if you ever watch the Lone Ranger TV show, the most effective person of that duo was Tonto, the Native American. The Lone Ranger sucked. Like, he'd shoot at somebody and miss. People would get the drop on him and kick his ass. Tonto was doing all the work. Tonto did 75% of the work, got none of the credit.
Yeah.
It's like, goddamn, dude, like, how the fuck? I did all the work. This motherfucker get all the credit. Man, fuck you, man. I hate you. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's my unpopular opinion. I know some people will disagree. I don't care if they disagree. Fuck them. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. So my unpopular opinion, once again to reiterate, is that I don't think every live action adaptation of anime is terrible. But I think you have to look at it a case by case basis. But there are certain signs that let you know it's gonna be some bullshit, like that M. Night Shyamalan shit. Like if you're doing an adaptation of a show that's very ethnocentric and has like a lot of different South Asians, Pacific Island, Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean influence. Like the people there are very like a certain ethnicities, and then they do a live action adaptation. Everyone's white. Get your shit and run. It's gonna be terrible. Run away.
Yeah. Because I don't care about the source material.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan lied. He's like, no, he like M. Night Shyamalan is still defending that shit like it wasn't a problem. I'm like, and the sad thing is like, dude, you're Indian. You should know better than anyone that you don't want white people being cast in your shit.
Yeah.
But apparently, it was okay for you to direct some shit where that happened. You fucking two-faced motherfucker.
Everybody was every continent was a very variation of Asian. Like the Fire Nation were obviously like Japanese or Chinese, and then you had.
I would say they were China. Then Aang was Tibetan monk. Katara and Sokka were basically Inuit.
Yeah.
The native Inuit people. The people of the Earth Nation were basically like Mongolians. There was it was very man, there's lots of people of color in this. And then they fucking made the movie and it's like, oh, these are mostly all white people. Except the villains. The villains were Indians. I'm like, so, M. Night Shyamalan, do you have some self-hate going on here?
Yeah, I would have just said make the movie CGI if you couldn't,
Nah, man. You mean to tell me there were no ethnic child actors? That's bullshit, man. That's just M. Night Shyamalan didn't want to do it. Or, the only way he could get funding was to put these white kids in this fucking movie. That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact there's tons of childhood actors from all ethnicities. There's black childhood actors, white childhood actors, Asian child actors. There's always been child actors of all ethnicities. It's just they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, then fine then. Don't make the fucking movie. That's my other aside for unpopular opinion. If you're a director and you don't want to do something the right way, don't fucking make the movie. So many bad movies have been made because directors didn't like the IP they were directing and wanted to do their own thing and then fucked it up. Case in point, Godzilla 98. Roland Emmerich did not want to make a Godzilla movie. He wanted to make a disaster film. And he did. That's how you got a Godzilla film where Godzilla was a hermaphrodite that laid eggs and didn't breathe fire. that's how you got, So my point is this. My unpopular opinion to encapsulate is this. Uh, well, two actually. First, live action remakes aren't terrible, but if you see the signs of this is going to be some bullshit, don't be surprised if it's bad. And number two, if you're a director or a producer and you are offered a project, but it's something you're not interested in, you don't have passion for, fucking leave it alone. Just go do something else. All right? Because
Yeah.
it there are very few directors who you can give them a pile of shit and a bad IP that they don't give a fuck about, and they can still make a good movie. Most directors today are not that good. Okay, like Ron Howard is a director. You give him some shit, he will shoot your fucking movie. Um, Nicholas Meyer was like that. Nicholas Meyer made two of the best Star Trek movies of all time. Not a Star Trek fan, but he could still make good movies. Most directors aren't like that. They have to have passion in the shit. And if they don't have passion for it, then you're going to get some trash. But that's my opinion. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
No, we didn't have a project console Tuesday, yesterday, but we'll definitely have one next week, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
All right. It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. Thank you for joining, for watching. Those of you who will watch live, thank you. Those of you who will watch in the future on the VOD on YouTube, thank you. I'm in the process of getting my other rig together for streaming, so look forward to that. I'll probably start streaming towards the middle or towards the end of the middle or the end of July. So think next week or the week after next. Look forward to that. It'll be on Twitter. I mean, it'll be on Twitch. So look forward to that. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that. So I've seen the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and live your life.